here we are back with week 11, Harmony in Design. This is a fun one because it allows us to take the last 10 weeks of everything we've already been learning and discovering and kind of begin to pull some of it together under one sort of concept or umbrella. And so that's harmony in design. Harmony in art and design is visually satisfying effect of combining similar related elements. This includes adjacent colors on the color wheel, similar shapes, and a variance of line and texture, to name a few. So even with the similar shapes that we did with this exercise, we're looking at the harmony in design that's created from it. The success of our art has everything to do with harmonizing the choices we make with elements of art. Too much balance creates boring compositions, right? So if it's too much one thing in this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner, okay, it may seem balanced, but it's not, it's so predictable. So it's kind of boring. So too much balance is, but too much all over the place, chaotic is like, yikes, so you're always looking for that balance. So yeah, when you do too many random abstractions, it can create a confusing composition that doesn't allow the eye to rest. As we familiarize ourselves with our own language of art and our visual vocabularies, we begin to learn the elements that create harmony in our work. This week's challenge is to pull out some old work. So you can pull out some of your older work that you may have abandoned, for a lot of other reasons, but let's figure out why we abandoned it, what went wrong, and then find ways to correct the composition using what we've learned from the past. So it's like going back and just, kind of seeing, interestingly enough, can we fix something? Have we learned enough new things about our visual vocabulary and the way we work to go back and take some old art and see if we can just make some changes and some shifts and get it to something we like? I like doing that. It's a really fun exercise because you'd be surprised how much you've grown or how much you've discovered about yourself over, let's say, an abandoned piece of art from a year ago or 2 years ago. So we've learned a lot from the several weeks of working with elements of art. So we're going to just kind of think about all that and pull it together. As we work in our journals, this becomes a wonderful time to play with new ideas, new elements in design, and to expand our visual vocabulary. So this is about playing. Let's just play. And what we're going to do this week in our time on the table is I'm just going to go through a lot of paints that I haven't gone through yet, and just put them down, see how the colors work together, see what the harmonies are, just discover some things about some paints I haven't used and some of my paints that I do use, and let's just see how we can kind of play around with color harmony. And then with that, we can take them and work them back into our journals, look at, like I said, older art, and just this is about playing, but just making discoveries and seeing how you can start harmonizing your work around some of your newer discoveries, or maybe even some of the new colors or the new shapes, some of the new lines that you have discovered over the last few weeks of journaling. How can you put them together into some like a harmonious piece of art, So maybe set yourself up to make a piece of art, this week around your journaling that will pull some of these elements together. So there you have it. It's real simple. Harmony in design. It's all about playing. Remember, there's no rights or no wrongs. It's no particular way of doing it. I may do it one way. You may do it another way. A third person in our community will do it, a third way, and yet they're all right. Because it's all a process of discovery and us getting to our own personal language. That's what I'm most interested in helping you guys over this 52-week period, is really honing in and just getting to know your own language better, and really creating your identity around what you most enjoy about creating. All right, see you on the table. So now that we're on the table, I thought it would be fun to jelly print this week as we work with harmony in design. And one of the things that happens with harmony is really harmonizing our color palette, right? And one of the things I like to do, especially when I'm trying out new paints, and seeing how some of my new paints will work with my old paints, is I just pull them out and just print up layers of color on my Gelli plate and just see how colors will fit together. Like a lot of times I'll put 3 colors on a plate and just see how they work together, and just do series of these, you know, just using, you know, inexpensive copy paper. Because what I end up doing with them, even with these sheets, I'll show you, I have some here because I did some yesterday. I will just, any of my off sheets that I'm pulling from, I'll then just coffee stain them. See how you get that really neat patina to them? And so all of these just weird little off color that I rolled my brayer off onto, or pulled extra paint off the page, I'll coffee stain, and then they make great pages in a junk journal. You know, they can become great foundations to then glue some of your other images on top. A lot of the elements of design that we've already been learning, maybe put some other Gelli prints on top of them. And so this is from a session I did yesterday, and it's just, I just have lots of them. And then most of the times I will do the front and the back. Like these, I only did the front because I think I'm going to use these as sort of backgrounds for some collages. But generally, I'll just make sure I have the front and the back done. That way I can fold them. And they just make great pages for your junk journals and stuff like that. That way you haven't wasted paint. You haven't wasted the time of trying out colors, because you're not necessarily trying to, you know, you could come back over with your stencils and print patterns over top of these. But I find it's just a great way to test colors, use my papers, use my paints, and then actually work this back into some kind of really cool junk journal, you know, with all these just really neat pages that then you can add your pockets and all the, you know, things that we love to do. So that's just an example of what you can do with it. But what I wanted to do today is I have these paints from Seth Apter. You guys know I'm on his creative team. And so the company sends me paints. And I haven't really spent a lot of time trying these. These are translucent gels. But I do have a technique that I love to do, and I'll show you, where I like to take old photographs and from my collections. These are from a collection of slides. A lot of times I just source slides like on Etsy. You know, a lot of times, oftentimes I'm in the thrift store. You find those old slide carousels. If I pull stuff out of places that are like really cool, I'll buy them, because there's something on your phone called that you can get. It's called Slide Scan. Open it. It's called Slide Scan. And you can see it there, Slide Scan. And what you do is you can literally just scan slides, and it captures them really great into a translucent background, and then you can print them out. So it's a free app. If you get three days free, you know what I mean? And so just scan a lot for 3 days. Otherwise, it's $5.99 a month, which isn't really a lot. If you have a lot, if you like that idea and you're like, oh my goodness, that's great, and then just scan a lot of them and then move them over onto your hard drive so you'll have them. But see, they really still come out like slides. I just love them. So then what I like to do with these images is print them out like we're doing. I like to do this glazing method that I talk about a lot, and then use these back in my collages, in our journals. You know, you can make your journal cards out of them, tags, whatever you love doing with your own images. Now, you can do the same thing by just going in the magazine and cutting out interesting pictures in the magazines that you like. And you could do the same glazing techniques. If you don't have any slides, don't worry about it. Also, these 2 pages, I've put a link underneath the video. You guys can get these, and they're free. You'll just be able to download it and grab these images from some slides that I have. So, you know, you can use them and have fun with them, making stuff in your art. These are from Morocco and Spain and Mexico, are some of the places that these images have come from. So they're there. You'll see the free link for these 8 images. So if you want to play with the same images I'm using today, have at it. But magazines, and if you have a slide collection, and you've like been wondering, what do I do with these slides? Well, now you'll have an idea. So, and just, you know, when we make these up, you'll be able to use those back in, obviously, in your journal this week, you know, and we think about harmonizing design and what have you. You can look back over your older backgrounds that you've been making and things like that, and just see what works, and, you know, just have fun and play with this idea. So these are the translucent gels. Also, there's a new line that came out, these luster pastes, or pearly, and these are gorgeous. Now, I normally use metallics in my glazing because it's hard to find translucent gels, like in a lot of colors. And you need it to be translucent so you can see the photo underneath. The thing about the metallics is that you still get that little luster, that little sheen. Now, a lot of times I like the sheen on there because I like that sort of metallic old mirror kind of look. But I also like the idea of getting a translucent color down, but yet still not have a shine. So we're going to play. I'll show you what these look like. These are some of my favorites from the line. But we're going to start off just by putting layers of the gels down so we can see what our favorite colors are. We can see the translucency of them, and then we can think about, okay, which one of these will look nice or harmonize with the colors of these papers so that you can glaze them. And what the glazing does is it locks the paint, the inks in, because these are laser prints. So they're going to, when they come in contact with water, they can bleed a bit. But once you lock them in with a paint on top of them, they stay great forever. And I think they harmonize more with jelly prints and, other painted surfaces, which is why I started glazing a lot of my pictures doing this technique. Let's get started. So I'll just tell you the colors as I go. This one is called Greenland. I think I opened this one before, and it's a little. Come on now. I'll come back to this one. I think I must not have closed it down really well. So this one is Freesia. Okay. So we don't want a lot because we just want to be able to make these glazes. Let's try, let's pull this one. This one is Arctic Grape. So I'm just going to kind of do 3 strips of, color and see what we end up with. And then let's go for this blue, which is Crystal Waters. That way you guys can see what all the colors are and see what you think your fave color is if you want to try these. And at the same time, you can play around with this technique. So we're going to roll it out like we've done before with our glazes. You can see they're very translucent. And that's what we want, because we want to be able to see our images through them. And that's, I've had a challenge with a lot of paints around that idea. So we can see what these colors look like. Oh, they're really pretty. This blue is really quite nice. This is the Crystal Waters. Alrighty. So we're just going to kind of move through it. Now, I'm interested in seeing, like, this one is iced tea. And I kind of feel like little pieces is hard. Let me just take and put a scrap piece over here. I think that's how that green one is. So this one is iced tea. let's just go with this one. This is Winter's Night, which is like a black. Interesting to see how that plays out. And then let's go with this red. Now these are non-metallics. This is Slurpee. What a cool name. Some of these that I've opened, a couple of them I've opened before just to try, and I think that what's nice is you can just, it's like glue. You can get that little clot out of it, and then it's a little bit there. It's another little piece. It's like like glue. Come on. Then it's going to come. I knew it was going to do that. It's going to come squirting out. Okay. So what did I say this color was? Oh, Slurpee. Okay, so let's try this. We're going to go with the Slurpee, which is kind of a red. And that way I can sort of look at these and decide, you know, like which color do I want. And then I go, when you're using your brayer with all the colors, I kind of just like to go from the lightest to the darkest, you know. Okay. Let's see. Oh wow, that iced tea is nice. I think this would be a good color for us to use on the old photos for sure. This black is nice as a translucent. And that's that Slurpee, which is a nice sort of raspberry color, it looks like. Okay, so I'm put the iced tea aside because I can see that working well for our photos. Going to probably hear one of my puppies out there fussing a bit, so I apologize in advance. They're all out there interacting with one another. It's so cool to see them when they all play together and everything, but I'm just kind of getting down here and getting, I don't know, maybe I just didn't put the caps on tight enough, but I really want to use this color, so we're going to get, it's easy enough to pull it up. Let me just see if I can force it out like I did that other one. I'm covering it up so it doesn't go splat in the wrong way. Okay, here we go. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to take my time with it too and be careful because I do not want it going everywhere here. Okay, here we have the color now. Okay. So this color here is called, yeah, Greenland. I need to make sure I put them on tight. I haven't been putting those, well, I've only tried a couple of them, but I can tell you I haven't been putting them on very tight. So that tells me I need to make sure that I do that. Okay. We're not going to do that for everyone. Let me see. Oh, this one is Glacier Green. Okay. Glacier Green, and let's try this Whiskey Frost, it's called. I could see this being nice on our photos. So we'll start with this Glacier Green. Oh, I didn't clean my... We're not going to get a true thing of this one because I did not clean my brayer off from the black. But it's okay. Get an idea. We can pull another sheet of it. Wow, this blue is pretty. This green, is it? Glacier Green. Okay. So like I just brayered off on the back side, so I just use the clean side to pick it up because remember these are just our waste sheets where we're just trying color. So it's good to be able to have paint on both sides so that at least you can stain it and be able to use those papers. Okay, so let me see. So this was, what color was that again? That's kind of really unexpected, isn't it? This is, wow, I like that Whiskey Frost. This one right here, that's actually a really interesting color. Okay, so one of the things I do when the plate starts building up like this with the paint colors, I just come back with a paint that's different from the ones I've been using. So this is the Blick Matte Acrylic in the Celadon. It's thicker and it's matte. So it's going to pick a lot of this material up and help us clean our plate off. And we still end up with something that's fun that we can use. And I love this Celadon. It's one of my fave colors with the Blick Matte Acrylics. So I just kind of roll it off. Okay, this down. So I call these like my discovery sessions. So, and it's a good way when you pull these triad colors like this, you just kind of randomly looking at colors that you think may work together. It's a good way to sort of see the harmonizing of colors because then you can pull ones that, okay, we got a little bit off there. Cool. Do this, get some more here. You can, I'm not going to do a lot, just a little bit. And you can kind of play around with the colors and just see what, you know, what you feel will work and what doesn't. And then you might see a pattern in one triad and then you can roll them out again and try, you know, just play around with your colors. That's how I find new combinations and stuff that I like as well. Because you just can't look at the colors in the bottle and say, oh, you know, if you're going to like it or not. Okay, wow. See, we're getting a nice pull there. Look how much we got up. Now that's old wall. I think that's what I got known for here on YouTube is old wall. But look at that. Just a few pulls. And because we're using two different kind of paints, you get that really nice push and pull of color. So when you're working with like something that has a lot of a lot of gelatin in it, like, oh, she's just out there having a conversation. When you're working with something that has like a lot of like it has a lot, it's a glaze, so it means it has a lot of acrylic binder in it, then you can always clean it with something that has more of a heavy body to it. So this one is iced coffee. Let's see what this is like. So any kind of a heavier bodied type of color is going to pull. Oh, Aquila. Sorry about that, guys. Oh no. Sometimes she sees, like sometimes she wants to play with one of the puppies that is not into playing. So then she kind of barks to try to, you know how dogs do, to try to get his attention. It's my older dog and he just ain't having it. He's like, I don't want to play. I don't want to play. Kind of got a little dark because that's a couple of where the color came out. It was like a little chunky there on the plate. So that was iced coffee. Yeah. And this one, oh, melted butter. Oh, okay. Let's see. Huh. I have to do this iced coffee again because I can see if I got it really good and thin what it looks like there. That looks good. It's just a little too much here. And then the melted butter, that's a pretty color too. You can see it there. Okay, let me see if I can, guys, indulge me. I'll get these last two colors. I mean, I know it's somebody out there thinking, can we see what that purple and that blue looks like? Okay, don't stop short of showing us the purple and the blue, please. So, just get this out. I'm going to really just kind of push over here so I don't just splat too much on the plate. Hopefully. So I'll clean this out and then I'll be back. That way I don't waste our time too. All right. All right, I'm back. So this one right here is, let me just kind of see if I can get a little bit more of this up. Yellow. Okay. So we're going to put the purple down. This color is Polar Pink. I'm going to show you this Polar Pink against this. This is one of my favorite in their pearl line. Against the Restless Rose. Oh my goodness, this is such a good color. So let's just see. Then that way you can see the... Oh, I might have put a little bit too much down. That way you can see it against the these metallics as well. Okay. Alrighty, let's see. And then we'll get on to, oh, wow. See how good that playful pink is? It's gorgeous. It's kind of hard to see maybe with the lights shining. It's so pretty. And then this right here I'm loving too. This Polar Pink is really, it's kind of like a little neon a bit, but soft. Love it. Let me just go ahead and clean this plate off a bit. I'm going to just take the back side of one of these prints here, for the earlier ones, and just clean it up. So I definitely think I'm going to try yeah, we just got a lot of extra off there. Nice. And so when you coffee stain these type of things, oh my God, it's amazing. Just kind of pull. Now that it's sticky, I just kind of take and so you kind of keep on getting that stuff off. Okay. So let's do this. Let's use the Frostbite, which is a blue. And let's use another one of my fave really light glazes. This is Seafoam. Oh, this is so pretty. So let's see how these look like. If you don't want your colors to mix when you're, you know, working, just make sure you have a couple brayers at hand. Generally, when I'm worried about that, I'll have several brayers just to be able to control it. Alrighty. So then we'll do some, I'll show you how I glaze those pictures. Now I got an idea of what I'm going to use. Oh, look at that. So here we have it. That's the seafoam, which is like a sort of a pearly greeny kind of tint to it. Is really gorgeous. And then that's pretty too. So I'm gonna let these dry. We're gonna move on to put that down there. I'm gonna get a fresh plate. I probably need to get some of that color off, so let me just put this down. This is some more pearly. This is in the cream. I just want to try to get a little bit of this stuff off our plate. And then we'll put some pictures down. I'll show you how I glaze them. And they're great for just using back in our journal. So this week, think about harmony of color. Just go through your paints. And it's kind of like an extension. You can think of it as an extension of Forbidden Colors exercise, where you're just playing with a lot of colors. Oh, look how I pulled all that black that I had off the plate. Oh, that's such a beautiful background. I love it. Okay, so let me get my scissors. So like I said, grab these if you're so inclined to want to play with some of these images, and you're free to use them in your work because they're just from my slide collection. So I own the slides, so it's no big deal. And I think what I'm going to do, now when you do the glazing, you want to make sure you put down very, very, very thin layers. So I'm going to start off with this one, and I'm going to go and grab, let's look back at our things here. I want to make sure I get one of those earlier colors. So on this one, that's why we do these, to go back and look at them. I think I'm going to try just a little bit of this one right here, which would have been, I think it was this one. No, not Whiskey Frost. Okay, now that I've sufficiently confused myself, let's put one of each down on this plate. Oh my goodness. So just a little bit. You do not want a lot. Nowhere near what I was using. We were just using those to see the full color. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll this out. Okay, so this is iced tea and this is Whiskey Frost. Okay. I think it's the iced tea that I want. Let's just take it off of here. Yep. So I'm going to go for the iced tea right now. This is such a really neat color though. So, iced tea. So we're just going to get a bit. Let me just clean my brayer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I get off that initial, because this is like a glaze, it does have a tendency to stick to the plate. The cleanest way to do this would be to, honestly, to take your colors and rub it off onto a glass mat or an acrylic piece or something like that, and then roll it out, because they are a gel, and so they do have a certain kind of stickiness to them. And I notice when you put that first bit down, it will stick to the plate. So if I were like really doing this where I'm working on stuff and I want to make sure I'm really controlling all elements, I would definitely just roll it out on a glass plate first. But anyway, look at that. Wow. So see how you get this? This iced tea is giving a really nice sepia. Oh, that's really pretty. See that sort of sepia tone quality? And you get that little bit of a shine, so it really starts looking like a photo. And it really just warmed up and made that so rich. Oh, I love it. So this iced tea, that's a good simulator of, oh, that's good, of a sort of antiquing, what do you call it? I just said it. Where are the rest of my pictures? I'm like in a mess over here. Oh, here they are. So I'm gonna take this one and I want to try, I'm gonna show you what the just a little bit of this cream, but this is a metallic, so this is going to give us a little bit more of a metallic flow. But I'm not going to clean my brayer off, so some of that iced tea is going to transfer on here. The main thing is just roll out thin layers. You almost will not see, you know, you can almost not see the color down there. That's what you want. Because we just want a layer. We don't want anything that's going to block the image. This is nice. I really like that. Now, I also noticed that these translucents will leave things a little sticky. The final layer is sticky, so what I do is I normally put a matte medium over it, or if you have an acrylic wax, like a lot of you guys have, like in Europe, you have that color. What's the name of the company? Oh, look at this. Oh. So you see how you get this, and see that little imperfection? I think that just adds to like the staining or the old quality of it, but you can definitely just, you know, put another layer down and pick some up if you want. But that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I like it to have this sort of aged look. So if we, and that was cool seeing a little bit of that iced tea in there. So see if we cut this and we could, like how we worked in our books last week. I should have one of them here. You know, this just becomes a nice piece that you can, you know, you can take a neat image and just reaching for my book. I made another one. I'm always making these things. This is the same concept, but it's just a different style. But you can see like inside of our journals, you know, it can be something. I know the glare is picking it up, but look how pretty. Or to make like journal cards, or like this is one that I made. So, you know, to back it, and then it's something that could go in a pocket, or actually can be glued on the back of our work. And then, sorry about the glare, but you see it. So gorgeous. And then that gets slid in, you know. So you can definitely think about using your images like this in some of the journals that I'm showing you. And it just really picks up another quality that you just don't get from just using the photographs as they are. So how are we looking for time? Yep, we're looking good. So let's try another one. Just wanted to cut it out for you so you could really see where we're going with this. Oh, this is a nice one. This has like a blue tint to it. So of those colors that we did. I don't know if any of the blues are going to be light. And you know which one I think is going to be good? Is this very first one here. Let me see. Crystal Waters, that's what it was. So I'm going to try to put the faintest amount down. Because by now, you can see you don't want a lot of it. And I'm putting it off in this corner, so if it, whatever sticks, you know, it's going to be off of where I'm going to be putting the picture. So I'm just using this 6x6 plate. So just as thin as you possibly can. Okay. So you see it before. Let's see what we get here. I like this Crystal Waters too. This one is really pretty, and I can see it. See how bright it looks in the thing? That's why you have to try these. That's why I'm always about doing these exploratory sessions where I can really just play with colors and see what I have. Oh yeah. See what that did. So that just kind of gave an overall kind of blue cast. So kind of look at your pictures and determine what color background you think would be good. And like I said, you can use any paints that you have. If you have some of the kind of the inexpensive metallic paints, I'm going to get some more of this iced tea for this one. The main thing is just kind of play around, do what I did first on some scrap paper, knowing you can always use that scrap paper in your junk journal. And then just kind of test it. He's just one at the door. No, I don't think he's even at the door. I don't know where he is. He's in the hall there. So I'm gonna take this and grab it like this so I don't get that spot. And just test your colors and just roll out these very, very thin layers. You can even play around on magazines and just see, you know, like how thin is thin, you know what I mean? You just want a bit of a glaze, and it really just allows your work, you know, using kind of prints that you can print out of the computer or get out of a magazine. Oh, I really like a sepia. That's what I said before. So this iced tea really gives a nice sepia effect. Love it. So you definitely afterwards, to get rid of the sort of sticky texture that's going to be here from these glazes, is either you can use your matte medium, which is here somewhere. Where's my matte medium? Or I was recently sent this by one of my British followers, and it's acrylic wax, and she says she likes this over matte medium. I haven't been able to find it here in the States, so she sent it to me, but I've seen the finish on it, and it's gorgeous. So you just get this, it's almost like you just used a wax. So anything that you know that may do that will be beautiful as a layer on top of these pictures. And so it kind of will get rid of that little bit of stickiness, and at the same time, you get this really beautiful glaze. Love it. Okay, let's see. I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to use this blue. Which metallic did I use? I think I used, I used this one. So let's use this blue. I don't know what it is about a really good light blue metallic I like. I think because it gives it sort of like a look of sort of old mirroring or something like that. You know that look that old mirrors do? It's something about a blue glaze that to me does that. Don't need a lot, that's for sure. So, hope that gives you some ideas, some playtime in your studio, those of you who Gelli print. And those who don't, you know, you can do a similar thing by just getting magazine pictures or your old pictures, photocopy them. Just kind of play around with different ideas. You see this sort of mirroring? Now, I know my light is catching it, so I have to apologize here. But see how it just gave it this really, just like an old mirror or something. And they are so pretty. And when you work these things back into your, let's see. When you work them back into, I'm trying to see if I had something here to show you. When you work these back into your art projects, be it your collages, your books, whatever. So these you can do and, you know, kind of play around with these in your journal this week. Think about harmony and design. That's the main thing. So look at textures, colors. I think a good place to start is with colors. And just see what different color, like we went through all those colors and then we sort of determined which of these paints were really going to harmonize with these images and really just transform the images into something that's really old world. I mean, these just look like I have photographs in my hand. I mean, I do have photographs, but you know, like old photo paper, because these glazes are just really, really good. And it's because they're so sticky that you get this really nice finish. The pearls are not, the Pearl Essence ones are not as much, but all you have to do is just do a little bit of this color wax down and literally you just take it and pour some out, rub it on there, let it dry and buff it off and you've got a nice finish. So there we have it. And then also we have these wonderful papers that I can now take and coffee stain them or whatever and end up with some pieces like this that I'll work back in a journal. So at some point I'll just start collecting these papers because at some point we'll do a journal. We'll make a journal with our papers and just have fun with them as we kind of pull some other of our projects and our other journal prompts for the week, for that particular week together. I think that's everything I want to say. So that's been probably what we're on 40 minutes or so. It's probably a good time to, I was going to just, if I could just find some cardstock. It's just going to, since we had a little bit of time, I was going to just do one of these is cardstock, but I can't find any right now, and I wasn't prepared to do it, so I'm sitting here just thinking about it now. But we'll work with some of these. I'll be doing some other stuff like, you know, we'll come back and work some of our projects like this one here, where I just used a glassine envelope, made pockets and stuff. And we can, you know, we'll start, this one is designed just to glue on to like one of our book pages, or it's great on the front. You know, like how cool is that? You know, so we'll be using some of this stuff in some of these projects. And as we're flushing out some of our elements of design and other journal prompts, a lot of these things we'll use not only just in our journals, but we'll use them in projects. Because the most important thing to really fleshing out your ideas, your style, you know, your visual vocabulary is to be able to use these things back in your artwork. So if we want to move back and forth between our journals and art projects. And so we'll be doing that all year long. We'll be working in our journals, but we will be also, let me see, I'm getting mine down right now. We'll also be working in actual projects. So I'm pretty much caught up to this week here. And, you know, I'll come back for some of this. So, yeah, so like even here, like one of these would be so cool just to put on, where was that? Here we are. You know, like these could actually be collaged into this spread. over the mark making, because remember we were just using mark making as a catalyst. So this would be fun with some of last week's mark making to come back with this and do that. So I think that's everything. Okay, I think you guys got enough ideas and for the week. And harmony and design, do that any way you want, but I would suggest something like I've done. Just go back through your paints, look at your paints in a fresh new way, just have a jelly printing session and just lay them out and pull with wild abandon. Don't worry about necessarily making it look like, oh, anything finished. And see what discoveries you make about color, and then take those discoveries into your book, because now these pages that we did, they can become foundations for some of my journal pages as well. You know, I'm sure I'm going to come back in and glue some of these in like we've done before, and then collage on top of them, do other kind of discoveries. So these papers are not for naught, because you can definitely come back and put them in your journals and keep going. So those are all of my ideas. Take care. If you enjoyed this video, please thumb it up. If you're the first time to my channel, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, right? And then so that you can make sure you get notifications. Love you guys so much. Always enjoy your comments. Keep them coming. And yeah, until next week, it's harmony and design. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.